lifetime guarantee on the motor.
Oh, I guess I should
Supposed to be.
I've got a couple of
Send a
motors that are
tweet.
40 years old.
I don't think I've ever had a problem with it, because I've never had a house too long.
I'm sorry. The sun is hitting the window there, and I'm trying to.
We have corrosion directly out of water. It's a huge difference than even being across the street.
Stay there.
Stay.
See if
Last
I
week
can.
on a roof, on the water the last 2 to 3 years across the street.
I found that the 5-year stuff, you only plan on doing it every 2 years.
Would you like some sunglasses?
And things like if you use a regular drywall screw outside, 6 months. I mean, it's rust. And it's disintegrated. It doesn't even hold.
Being we live here, and people like me, we know the difference of the different grades of stainless steel.
Oh, yes.
What stainless steel does rust.
Yes.
74.
Yeah, if you don't provide grade stainless.
Well, you gotta go to 316 or higher. If you really want something special.
Did you want it, is it shading the light or
I
something?
really don't.
Yeah.
Hello, Maggie.
As you say, green grade.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, I see.
I know with the wrought iron, I was able to have it painted every like 2 years. And finally, the gardener said, no, every couple of months, just get out there and hose it all down.
We're here.
Well, what we did was, JC years ago, it was rusted every year. JC stripped that roof, that was all out front, stripped it all down, primed it,
Of course.
and then painted it. We haven't rusted it.
We're so organized these days.
Just hosing it down every once in a while.
I just think it's probably some
You can go out in the morning and sprinkle things from your house across railings or table. They just feel
Feel the grit.
We have
in Florida.
never
They had a hose right by where you drove out, and everyone drove out, and stopped and hosed the car off every morning.
The prison coach moved to Denver, so now that Denver camp, we just let it go, we just let it
Yeah.
After the sheriff a few years, we found something that's in aluminum, and that has worked.
I'm surprised it hasn't been
We
expired.
have an aluminum motor, and he came back.
The guy who did here before I came over and,
Good point.
well,
Nobody can comprehend that they would actually build stuff.
He does aluminum. Because my front gate's
I basically live in a jail cell. Every window is covered.
and my
Big
garbage.
wall.
Gosh, I'm glad that
But I
didn't
see
fall
a
face
lot of
first.
wrought iron.
I am.
All of us are.
I would have been crying.
We might both have been.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, this is spring of 1974, and everybody just thinks, I don't feel sorry for her.
And in this culture, if you're female out there
Yes.
on a little ladder, painting, at least 3 times a day, somebody stops and says, Senora, I know somebody who can help you with that. You know?
Understand? I mean,
It's really cute.
Too much light?
completely fair.
Sure. Tell me.
Are you hot?
Yeah, it's warm in here.
Yeah,
that did your,
I'm hot.
he's not sure he has aluminum, but the other guy does.
She knows what she wants.
You know, our question is,
we're getting close. When I hear people I think, what's called? Yeah.
well, and
I always go to the band. Always go to the band.
They would have to, you know,
Oh, you were cold.
Where's our little gal?
only reason.
okay, then it would,
She's here.
She's
They just
busy.
brought in John Hopkins.
She's
New
in.
gal's been waiting on us, kind of, she's covering Colorado.
No one can read that.
Man, that's cool because they
Scott.
Yes.
You didn't read your email.
Yeah.
Or did you?
I did. I can't remember why I haven't written you back yet.
Because you don't want to do it.
That could be the reason.
If I'm back next year, I'm gonna do what you're doing.
They had extra
Okay.
and the bridges.
Yeah, this goes back to, and this is not when I first started coming. I remember the first day I came, March.
Hey, Richard. Is that the same camera we had used before? Because I'm getting like really lousy frame rate from it.
So you don't get the surgical.
I'm gonna say 15.
You know, I remember hearing.
I mean, it's usable, but it's.
That's interesting because
Make it out of storage jar.
Right, right.
was the one that had the frame rate problem
One day I wondered if
Yeah,
Now, what
interesting.
did we do? Did we just reset the settings?
Yeah, if I remember right, all we did is install it, delete all its.
I drew up the.
But don't mess with it now because we're about to begin and it's usable.
I don't see a bad frame rate.
They were to be presented to the.
Yeah, something about the stream over here though.
Nobody in the face of the meeting. That's
But it's something we'll sort out later because it's usable.
But it was just kind of an automatic reflexive.
And then you come back the next day. Gutted skin. And hanging there.
Oh, good work!
Can we get his name so we
One,
make sure?
one like this.
Three
One of these. You got a bigger one. No, then you got the 4,000 milliamp. I have that tall.
Please, by the time you
I
look at the
guess
program.
I got
I did drawings for each room and how I wanted the tile laid.
Good. Did you see Sid in there?
Just hung them up.
Here's what we do. Here's what we do. When we're done, this is
All right,
So much easier when you have a visual.
we are running a little over.
Oh, I found it better.
Should we come to some semblance of order?
Your sound's different tonight.
You got my attention.
All right, Russ is with us. That's all I need to have a computer club meeting. If,
Coffee?
if I don't disturb the rest of you, I'll just introduce us. We are the San Carlos Computer Club, and I am Scott Stimson from International Computer Solutions. And it's all friendly faces here. Nobody new. These are the diehards of our San Carlos Computer Club. Our club has been shrinking every week, which is a good indicator not only that Semana Santa is coming, but people are running for the hills.
Summer is coming.
Scott,
Summer is.
when are
Yeah.
you leaving?
I am leaving, let's see, I'm flying the 18th of May. In fact, I'll bring up a calendar now and I'll tell you, I will probably be here for the 14th meeting, and that'll probably be my last meeting.
Okay, so 5/14's our last.
Yes, May 14th would be, it's my as I've said many times before, it's my last meeting. You guys are welcome to gather amongst yourselves.
And when are you
It
coming back?
becomes a breakfast club.
That's
When
right.
you get there.
And when do I get back, you said?
Yeah.
It would be the last week in September, so we'll just plan on either the first or second Tuesday of October.
Oh, you'll be back in October.
Yeah, well, I get back the last week in September.
I won't get her anything.
It's about when the geese flies out. Same time.
Yeah, I picture him now.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm
You see them around the
a big migration.
How
practicing.
about Tuesday the 8th
What, and I've been there.
and not the 1st?
Tuesday the 8th and not the 1st. What month are we talking about?
October.
You went to the
In
Belgian.
First
October.
is a Tuesday and the next Tuesday is the 8th.
Why does it matter?
Honestly,
July,
Time
August,
to get organized.
October.
as I said,
Yeah, you're way too organized. Right. Well, right now,
Take with all the paintings on it.
probably better to say the 8th.
Thorns.
Yeah.
They're saved there.
Just because I will have just gotten
Gracias,
back.
bonita.
Ok, y crema.
Sí, por favor.
The reason,
Whoa.
because I send out a notice every year on when he's coming back.
You haven't been sending out a notice for a
I didn't
long
get one.
time.
No, I did last year.
Oh, last
You
year,
did
yes.
once
When he
this year
came
too.
back.
I think I recall that.
Huh?
I think I recall that.
I didn't get notified because I was 2 weeks late. I was.
No, nobody told me I was back. But we're back here today, and I've brought a bunch of topics, but as always, I'm happy to answer any questions or topics that people have brought. Mike's always good for one. What do you got, Mike?
I have a little one, I have a big one, but the little one was, I love Locast.
Lowcast.
However, you can't get anything out of it. If it worked, it would be fabulous. I put my VPN on Boston, I went to the Boston stations, out of 10, I got one of them. And the rest all said, network error, download something else, yada, yada, yada.
What was the name of
It
it?
was
Locast.
It's a local news thing over the, over the internet.
So you're trying to use.
Fabulous if you get it.
So
It's only good for one location at a time, obviously where your VPN is.
Yeah.
What does it do? Does it come out and then flash? Shows you the.
It goes directly to a black screen, and up top it says network error.
Mine
I
worked.
I got a VPN in Boston, yeah.
You're still being blocked by them.
How do you spell
Maybe-
it?
Okay.
yeah,
LOCAS.
maybe try different VPN locations. Is it only available in the States? Is that why he's
It's all
using?
the states, cities.
Okay.
Well, not all of them. There's about 25 maybe.
Okay.
Major cities. Mine was working fine for about 2 months, and then all of a sudden, it comes up where it's accepting my location. Fine. Shows me all the schedule of all the shows that are going on, what's currently doing. But most of the days, if you click on it, it'll just blink and come back to you right away. Some
Yeah,
days
that's
it'll
what I'm
work.
getting, yeah.
Some days it'll work, some days it doesn't.
Okay.
It
Well,
would be fabulous if it worked.
It was working constantly for a while, but
The one Scott said last week works good though.
yeah, Jim, I appreciate the kudos you sent me later on after trying it out. I'm like, at least somebody's trying it.
I told you right here I tried it with the Android device.
Yeah, but then you also brought it home and set it up on your.
Yeah.
And had a great experience with it.
Has anybody tried it on
What was the
Roku?
name of it?
It was
It's on Roku.
it was usatv247.com.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
right?
I was on there.
Yeah, and it worked well.
is there any way to see the schedule of what's coming?
Local broadcast.
There is no guide in it that I've seen.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see the show.
But-
It could be interesting, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, what would be interesting is if you can correlate those channels with a program guide.
Has anyone figured out their location as far as time zone?
Not that I'm aware of.
For what?
For that US TV, but I imagine those
24/7?
stations are a collection all over
I
from
just
all
have-
different time
It's like
zones.
US TV now, where it's one location like Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I just put it on my computer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it worked great.
Yeah.
Worked on my phone
See
last
if I've
week.
got it on my phone.
You
I
have
have it.
Is it
The one that he was talking about.
I have a question.
Yeah, Irving.
Okay, so I used to get Netflix and Prime
I had it working.
with a Mexican feed on my TV.
Okay,
My smart TV. Then I put a DNS.
that smart DNS. Yeah,
And I was getting an American feed,
yeah.
and it was much better. Now,
One more time.
I can get,
One more time. US TV. 247.
okay,
No.
now,
You got my attention, Irving.
okay. I-
But, and we should get Maggie's attention because she's been using smart DNS for a long
Well, I
time,
don't know if it's
And-
that, I don't know if that's the
and
problem.
Jim's been using
The
it too.
problem now is when I go to Prime or Netflix, which I've always gotten without a problem,
Mm-hmm.
it no longer loads. It'll load the thing, and then when I go to hit it, it's a blank
What are
screen.
you
It won't bring up
using?
the program.
What are you using?
Smart DNS, I guess.
I know that. What app are you using? A computer or
For
Roku?
Prime,
My smart TV.
your smart.
TV?
Yeah, but in all my other items, like my computers, my other TV,
Mm-hmm.
it comes up. Just that one TV will not load it.
Oh, yeah. And it's Amazon Prime that's the issue.
And Amazon Prime and Netflix.
You can't get that in there?
And it was working.
It was working up to
Go
about a
back
week
into your
ago.
settings.
What?
Go back into your settings in your TV
and make sure the DNSs haven't changed on your TV?
Well,
I
that's,
have a thing that he loaded for me and I just hit it and it reloads itself.
yeah, he's using Smart DNS. He's using an old Infinitum modem that allows me to set the DNS.
Right, but if the TV's got a firmware update
Right.
and it reversed the DNS in the TV.
Anything that would reset the TV. But you know what? The TV isn't set statically. The TV is getting that information from the router. It's doing DHCP correctly. So it shouldn't be the TV. It could be an app on the
Here's one of the
TV.
clues. That one is hooked up, wired.
It's
I wanna-
it's
I-
wired to the modem.
Right.
Yeah.
But all my other units are Wi-Fi, and those all work
See,
good.
Irving has one of those original Infinitum modems that allows you to adjust the DNS. And so we adjusted it to point to Smart DNS. It doesn't have the ability to script it so that it would do it automatically. So when the IP gets changed, he has to manually go to Smart DNS page and refresh the number. And all this stuff was working for weeks. And what
Right.
model TV do you have?
A Samsung.
Samsung.
It's probably about, probably 6, 7 years old, 10 years old.
Have you double checked to make sure there isn't
Yeah.
That's not 10 years old. It's
Less.
about 4.
have you double checked to make sure there isn't new applications for those
Maybe it needs an
programs for
Well,
Prime and for Netflix?
I assume I'm getting the same thing on my other devices, no?
No, each one of your devices has a separate different version for that platform.
He's hooked up to an amplifier in the living room. Could that be it?
No, but what it could be is it could be that there's a software update for those apps that you use from Samsung.
A TV update.
Yeah, or a TV
So I would
update.
find it in the settings like you suggested?
It would be in Samsung that you'd be looking in your TV set for a software update. If it's a more recent Samsung, it should be informing you that there's an update and asking you to install it if there
It
is.
tells me to try later, it tells me, not loading, try later.
Mm.
I had a situation yesterday with Pandora.
Hey-
Same kind of thing, it kept spinning and spinning and spinning. So I looked around and it said, eliminate some cookies. So I went into the cookie thing and I didn't eliminate the passwords and stuff like that, but I eliminated the other ones. I went back to Pandora, worked it immediately.
Irving, your account status. I'm sure you've paid your bill,
Comes
But-
out automatically, yeah.
but maybe for some reason Smart DNS didn't get the payment. And when you're not paying for your service, then all you have access to is
How do I pay?
well, I would go into that same page and look under your account status.
When you loaded it, did I pay?
Yeah, I think so.
How?
Yeah, because we got it working on the TV at that moment. The only way to do that is by paying for it.
Okay, if it has
Smart
to be.
DNS on here and you can get your count up.
Yeah, bring up your Smart DNS account and see what your account status
They
is.
just automatically deducted my payment from PayPal.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a glitch on their side.
Yeah, I better check.
But if your status is in question, it will shut off the ability to use devices.
I've
The-
had an interesting DSN experience,
Smart DNS experience.
I've recently been watching documentaries on my computer because I've got the touch screen. And
I have a new
occasionally
view
come
here
along
called
and
setup.
say, you're in an area, a proxy area.
Yeah.
Hold on one second, Chester. Don't refresh your connection from here.
Okay, but I have something new here. It says, there's a setup. Usually it says that has the activate that has to be reactivated. Now I have a setup.
Yeah, and the reason is because you're in this network.
Okay.
And so don't make any changes to this. All you want to do is look
Okay.
at your account status.
Subscription, okay, let's
Yeah.
look at my subscription. Well,
That's so not working. Is it a touchscreen?
yeah.
It's,
Good idea,
it's so obviously not working.
Yeah, especially just going back farther.
If it's not working at the moment,
Here it is. Original
oh okay.
subscription
I was gonna say with the
February
touch screens on laptops these days, there's a very good chance just restarting the computer will make the touch screen
Well,
work
here's something
again.
interesting. It says original subscription Wednesday, February 13th. Oh, 24 months, $50.
Okay, so it's in good standing. You might go to their support and just chat with them.
Oh.
Yeah, and just
Not
No,
here, though.
I think it's working in the house. I mean, I don't have any
well,
problem.
it's working for everything but your TV device.
Right. Okay.
And it's easy to blame it on the TV, but there are some things that could be their problem, and the subscription, your status is one of those things that could be your problem with them.
Actually, there's a setting in there where you can set your apps to which country you want them in. Make sure they're all set to USA.
We actually did that when we set it up for them.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
It
I
was
mean,
working-
unless
it
something
was
got changed.
February,
I'm
March.
sorry, Chester. I just wanted to close that.
That's a key
Yeah.
thing, for something get changed. Many apps, when you do the
6
updates,
weeks
and
is what's
Microsoft included, they refresh their settings. So whenever you see an update coming, go back and check those things.
Yeah, and especially with the Android and iOS stuff, those apps are getting changed regularly.
Yeah, that's
I mean, it's amazing how often you set your device down and you look at it later and there's been
Thank you.
like 15 updates done on applications that were updated last week.
But that's a good thing.
Well, it's a good thing for security. It's a bad thing if they're going to be changing your settings to defaults, which happens on certain updates. And then you have to log back in and you have to let things download again.
Do you have to log in on your TV for the smart DNS?
You shouldn't. No. Chester, I'm sorry, you were going into something and we missed you.
I was watching streaming from Netflix on my computer, and it would be a long documentary, and so it'd have to reload data, and I'd get a big circle going 99, and it'd never stop. And then all of a sudden a screen would come up and say, you're in an area that is
Yep.
a proxy or something like that. So what I would do is I'd really get out of Netflix and go right back in and watch, and it'd bring me back to
And that would
where I
fix
left
it.
off and continue.
This is with the smart DNS.
Smart DNS, and it really works nice.
You just
Well, I'm
enjoy
getting
it.
that, I'm getting that.
happens with Roku also.
I'm
So-
getting that
Just power
circle, and it
stuff
goes
off.
to 99, and goes back to 15, and tries
Whoa.
again, yeah.
You know, I have a 60-inch Samsung Smart TV. It's just an HD. It's not the 4K. It's been around for a few years. And there are all kinds of problems, little computer problems that you shouldn't have with a TV, but you do, that I am able to solve simply by unplugging it, waiting 10 seconds, and plugging it back in. And so that would be something I would recommend to anybody that's having these kinds of problems is unplug it, literally unplug it from the wall, wait 10 seconds, plug it back in, and try again.
Well,
Okay.
If you were buying a 65, 70-inch TV today, would you buy a Samsung, or what would you buy?
Oh, there's a lot of brand recognition with Samsung. I mean, I feel very comfortable buying Samsung equipment.
I think the key
Yeah.
is, would you buy one with something like built-in smart? Because it's probably not gonna update as much as something like a standalone,
Well,
something like a Roku.
Well, you can't
This
buy
this
one.
question might be a little
Or do
behind
you
the
use
times.
it?
There isn't any without
well,
smart
yeah.
But
anymore.
do you
Why
use
would
it that
you?
much?
Yeah.
Or do you let some other
What-
apps that change
Like the one I bit off.
do it?
Unfortunately, Chester, I start all my purchases from this point. I'm like, this is the budget I'm going to spend on this next product, and then I start going down a feature list from that price point. And I'll give up on features I thought would be cool to have simply because they don't fit within my price point. But Samsung is a name brand that I've learned to trust. I think a lot of us have. They are the ones that are going to have the Apple Movie app. So if you're in the iOS infrastructure, if you're in that environment, then the new Samsung TV is going to be the one where you're on your remote control. You're going to be able to hit Apple Movies and TV and bring up that service. Hey,
And would you buy it here or up north?
well, the TV I was just describing, I intentionally bought from Amazon down here.
Okay.
And I think that makes a lot of sense if you live mostly down here.
Or Costco?
You need a period of time that the TV will be like you're placed in the warranty, Probably about 3 months is a good amount of time to get some use out of it to decide whether it's not going to be a problem. And within that 90 days, you can send it back to Amazon. And so that really...
One more TV store, we bought one at Coppell a few years ago, or Coppell, and it died after a year. And I brought the slip back, and they said it's a 2-year warranty. They took it back and replaced it in a week, and it right at my door.
Oh, that's a great Coppell story. Yeah. I have no good Coppell stories. That's a great Coppell story.
I'm committed to those guys. That was fabulous.
Now, my biggest frustrations with Coppell is they're normally more expensive than other places
but you know
around.
what? That was worth it.
Well, and the other thing is that we've gone in there to make some high-ticket purchases in the past and have been turned around each time because they don't have anything in the store.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And so you're kind of at the mercy of where their warehouse inventory's at because they have nothing to sell you in the store.
Well, and then they can't figure out how to look it up to see if it's in the warehouse.
Well,
There's no training.
And-
It's really bad.
Or-
I told the guy how to look it up.
Yeah. Is this
On
nothing
his
in the
computer.
Guaymas store or Hermosillo?
Exactly.
well, yeah, or the warehouse between. And I've had them be able to tell me that they have one at Hermosillo, but I would have to go there to get it. When I know an organization like that can have it sent to us.
I'm a Costco fan.
In the States, Costco makes so much sense because a year later your TV dies, you can probably take it back to Costco.
Right.
Yeah. I haven't had those kinds of experiences at Costco in Hermosillo. I don't know if anybody else has. I'd love to hear those stories, but I've never heard one of these crazy. I had it for a year and just it got worn out and took it back to Costco and they gave me my money back. Stories from Hermosillo's Costco, but I've heard a lot of those from Costco in the United States.
In defense of Samsung, my refrigerator is a Samsung. And when I purchased it, they told me that it was manufactured in Mexico. Many of the Samsung products are. And for reasons known only to God and them, they're better with the electric fluctuations that we have.
Built in.
Yes, yeah.
That would make some sense. I mean, they address a world market with their products. It's one of the reasons that we always recommend you get your electric protection devices in Mexico because they're less fragile than the protection devices you get in the United States.
What's acceptable electrical current in Mexico is different than the U.S.
Yes.
by
Right.
quite a bit.
It's higher.
Yeah.
Well, our Samsung TV we bought at Liverpool and it's for Mexico only,
Yeah.
and it has higher
Higher
And it's
voltage.
My
voltage.
one of my
That's what you did
TVs
to
is
the
like that.
refrigerator too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think those are all good purchasing points when you're
Years ago,
buying
we-
appliances down here.
Years ago, we bought a moderator that installs just before your circuit breaker box.
Right.
And we haven't had a problem. It was not
I have that
expensive.
also.
It wasn't expensive.
Holds your
Well, I
voltage
think
at 125.
both the whole house surge protector makes sense, which doesn't cost
I had
that
that.
much.
I have that.
And some people actually have what's called a voltage stabilizer. Many UPS boxes that's built into for almost nothing.
I have it on my TV.
I had that and it's probably worked for 15 years.
Are
Big
you
box.
are you guys interested in talking about some more TV streaming topics?
Sure, but I want to let you know that Bill and Cheryl are watching you.
Hi, Bill. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome to the club. Where are you guys?
At the slot machine.
They're at the slot machine. Send us a picture.
I have a question.
Okay.
They're too crazy.
You're moving down here from the States. It's your first year in Mexico. You want to be able to get the major TV networks. Is there a legal service that you can go through here? Does
Very interesting question.
You don't want
Do you
to
want
answer
that?
it in
Do you
public.
want
Oh, yeah.
that out in the
I
public?
think I have the answer.
Okay, Irving, go ahead. What do you think's an
Well, I
answer
had
to that question?
Until they try to fool around with, cheat me on my billing,
Let him get
I
arrested.
had DirecTV. And they knew I was in Mexico and I didn't have a problem. And that's.
But it was illegal still, even
What-
though they knew you were here.
Were you doing DirecTV Now, the streaming service?
I stopped DirecTV because they would AT&T cheated me on billing and wouldn't resolve it. I was fine with DirecTV. I dropped them both. They came back to me. I said, as long as I deal with you, I don't have a problem. I dealt with them a few years, and suddenly I had a billing problem that was cheating again.
Is that because you had a unit for an RV kind of thing?
Well, they knew that I had it in Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah, but you had an
Yeah.
RV, that's a whole
Yeah.
different ballgame.
But I had
Yeah.
4 or 5 receivers here. I have 4 receivers here without a problem.
It's a big
I-
RV.
I would give you an answer to that along the same lines, because I have had DirecTV forever.
Yeah.
And had a motorhome, and I had the Genie and the Minis, and years ago, they went around San Carlos, they monitor Viva.
Yeah.
And they took out all of the people that were using satellite receivers.
Yes.
But if you have a US receiver and you bring it down here and hook it up to a high definition antenna, they're not gonna bother you.
No, that's right.
It may not be legal, but they're not
It's
gonna
not
bother
gonna
you.
work.
Right.
Well,
forever.
that's
But
the
the
answer.
problem
They
is
never
the cost
bothered
of
me,
that
and I don't
antenna.
lie, so I.
A DirecTV antenna, high definition down here, it's the same antenna they use in Alaska and Hawaii.
And they're
Yeah, it's a
$1,400.
larger-
It's a little expensive,
That-
but it works
Chava
beautiful.
says.
And that's what
In-
Shava
Chava
installed for me.
says 1,400.
In the end, that's probably one of the easiest answers to give somebody. But if they're not, that's for you folks that have a traditional sense of how TV works, and people have become so much more sophisticated about the way they do TV. In fact, one of the articles I was reading this week was about how there are officially too many streaming service choices, and it's getting really expensive. And I was looking at this one journalist's bill, and he's like, I'm paying $16 for Netflix, $12 for Hulu, $25 for Sling TV. And if it wasn't part of his Prime account, he'd be paying $10 a month for Amazon Video. So he figures his bill's gone up to about $63 a month just for consuming TV, and he still doesn't have all the content that he hopes to get from it. Yes, Irving.
The only thing I want to say, because I use some of those services,
Mm-hmm.
DirecTV is the most stable.
Oh, as a platform.
Yeah. most
But
stable.
I'd like to add something to that you need to tell your friend, that if they do want to go with a DirecTV service, they need to get their receiver in the States.
In the States.
Right.
Okay.
So,
And Shava does.
And bring it
that.
down.
He's-
Yeah.
But you have to get that new antenna down here, which is really expensive.
Not yet.
No, he does it all. Shop is
Right, but
custom.
he's
My
charging
understanding was
$800
Mega
for
Cable.
that antenna.
Say again?
Well, listen,
Mega Cable
why
has
is it
some
that you don't
English
have it?
programming,
Why
but
is it
it's
not in
majority
English?
Latin content.
It is.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
And they don't go
it's
everywhere.
it's like Hollywood films and TV shows, but they're all dubbed in Spanish.
What they
Okay.
Yeah,
pay.
but they have like 2 or 3 stations that are in English.
The other legal thing is US TV Now. It's designed
That
for
is
out of the
legal?
country. That is legal.
Okay, that's a good one to know too.
US TV Now, it's not the 24/7?
No.
Stream, but I don't.
That doesn't
US
work.
TV Now is designed for
Another
DirecTV.
DirecTV.
Another DirecTV?
Yes.
For years,
.com?
I have 2 receivers.
It's only
of
available
phone,
outside the
right?
US.
Okay.
And I always bring one down here
And it's
without a
out
problem.
of Pennsylvania.
And I would call them,
For live.
put the other one on vacation, right?
Right.
This year, I called them, can't do it.
Nine receivers.
DirecTV won't.
Continue to pay for both of them.
Another-
Oh wow.
Yeah. They wouldn't allow.
That's interesting. So you have to maintain your contract.
That's right. So I don't know whether it's AT&T is been doing that or not.
I don't know, they're doing some weird stuff right now in this streaming shuffle of services. You guys know there's a whole bunch of streaming services that are about to come online to compete with a bunch of streaming services that people aren't even aware of. I was doing some research on this morning, and are you guys familiar with the Free Dive? IMDb's Free Dive? I don't know if you'd be aware of it because it's only available in the United States right now. But this is IMDb. This is owned by Amazon. This is ad-based streaming for movies and TV shows.
IMDb.
Yeah, Internet Movie Database.
You can look at that and check out how your movies are.
And can you record them?
Well, this is a streaming service, so to answer that question, just think about how Netflix does things, right?
But Netflix doesn't have ads, so.
That's right. This is ad-based free service, and if you're a Prime member, this content is being delivered to you through your Fire TV, your Amazon Video app, your Prime Video app. But it's not available to us in Mexico. So if you were going to take a look at it, you'd probably have to use a VPN to get in the United States. But I didn't even know that service existed. Free, just ad-based. There's also Apple's TV Plus that's going to be coming out in, they say, 100 countries by autumn, by the fall of 2019. They still don't have a price for it.
And
What
what's
was
that
the other
called?
one you were just saying?
Disney.
I was talking about IMDb's
Oh.
free dive, not drive, dive.
And then
I made that
Disney.
typo a couple of times this morning.
Disney and Apple.
Well, so you've got Apple TV Plus. The app is going to be available with all its upgrades are going to be available in May, and they're going to release it to 100 countries in fall, and they still don't have a price for it. There's there's NBC Universal that's supposed to be coming out in 2020. Should I get that? Is it for me? So they're predicting that. I mean, this is NBC content, Universal Movies content. They have been part of Hulu, right? And they've said they're starting a streaming service in 2020 that'll be about $12 a month.
Came out
Disney Plus.
cheap.
Disney Plus is saying they will strategically price below Netflix. They will charge $6.99 for their service. $69 a year, $6.99 a month.
They can't multiply.
But their list of what they had, it was all Disney stuff.
Mickey Mouse.
Well, it's Disney, Marvel, Star Wars. It's Miramax.
They own
It's
ESPN as well.
they got
that whole sports thing going too.
I mean, what you can imagine is that's just, they're doing this price because at that price you can say, well, maybe I'm done with Netflix. Netflix, on the other hand, if you haven't been paying attention, is raising their prices.
Yeah.
We do it all the time.
Yeah, well, they just gave us another announcement that in May it's going to be raised again. So if you're doing basic Netflix, it's going to go up $1 to $8.99. If you're doing the standard plan, it's going to go up $2 to $12.99. If you're doing the premium plan, that's all those accounts. It's going to be $16.99. It's going to be $15.99. It's going to go up $2 more.
With the premium, though, you get the 4G.
With
Okay.
4K.
the 4K with
I don't
Netflix,
like-
the premium.
I don't like explosions and guns and rabid sex all the time. So we subscribe to Acorn, which is the best of British TV.
Acorn?
Acorn,
It costs
yeah.
$50 a year.
Acorn for $50. I'm adding that to my
That's not
list.
live TV though, is it? Is it just,
What?
is that just movies and,
It's movies, it's, you know,
it's not live TV?
it's, you know, like, we like British movies, so, you know, you got.
So is it all British content?
And Australia.
And Australian.
Yeah, 800 Words is a fabulous family show about you know, and it's had several seasons, you know.
You know, in this topic,
Dr. Blake.
I had reason to look up some other stuff.
Yeah, Doc
And-
Martin.
Yeah, Doc Martin's on it.
Oh, that's, yeah, that was
Call
good.
the midwife.
This is one more example of how splintered all this has gotten. Like you may want to watch Doc Martin and nothing else. Is that worth $50 a year? This
Midwife is good.
this is really going to push back into piracy. We're going to see a lot more piracy happening as your content bills get up there close to cable bills.
CBS is $7 a month.
Oh.
So, yeah, and they're strict.
That's wild. So CBS is even a penny more expensive than the Disney.
Netflix went up in price this year.
But I like
That's
the
great.
CBS with no ads, so your shows rather than being an hour or 43 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like
So
Did you see that Warner Media, they have sold Hulu back to themselves, so they've gotten out of Hulu, right? So now Hulu is majority controlled by Disney, and the second majority is in NBC Universal, which will have their own streaming service by the end of 2020. So they're the only, right?
I'm confused.
Are you confused by all these? I've actually got a post I'm gonna put on our website that breaks down each one of these
Hey, that would
streaming
be good.
services,
That would be good.
so that you can have an idea of the pricing, what's coming up, and what exists right now.
That would be good.
And that way you guys can look at it and you can point to it. There's just so much stuff that's happening right now.
seems
It's
it
like
changes so
Acorn.
rapidly.
Acorn, it says it's 79 pesos a month.
How much is it now?
79 pesos a month.
Shoot.
Always available, always commercial free.
That's pretty cheap.
That's pretty cheap.
It's very cheap.
Yeah, my wife really likes it.
Yeah.
You know,
Viacom.
Oh, $250.
Viacom. Paramount Viacom.
series or
Yes.
Have you guys ever heard of Fubo TV? You're- I did not know anything about Fubo TV until this morning. When I found out that Viacom has cut a deal with them to distribute their Paramount holdings, all their back catalog of stuff, their shows, Nickelodeon TV, things like that, is going to be distributed through Fubo TV, which apparently is very popular with sports fans. It's got a lot of sports channels, and I can only imagine that justifies the $44 a month cost. You must be a sports fanatic. It must have every sports channel you could ever want for that price.
they do.
Yeah? Hey, are you a subscriber, Dave?
No.
No?
I've looked at that. I've used. I'm trying to think of the name.
I just can't imagine what you put on a streaming network that makes it worth almost $50 a month to you.
Well,
I
you
used
get
the
the,
gambling
you get the
channels.
Sunday ticket, which I used to get because my son wanted it. I think that was $300 just for Sunday ticket. Then we used to have fight nights at my house, and I used to pay like $80
Yeah?
a fight.
Well, that
And we
price
start-
right there pays for a month of
Yeah, so we start
Fubo.
adding up Sunday ticket, fights, and anything else you want, it's probably a bargain.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, I'm not much of a sports fan. I don't even know what's going on in the sports world. But maybe $50 a month is cheap to have access to all your sports streams.
Have you ever heard of? I call them the gambling channels. They're typically European based. It's live streamed or something things.
Okay.
And you can get a list of what sports are coming up. You can only do something to get access to it like 45 minutes before it starts. And it's literally for the people doing gambling to take bets and watch the game as
that's
it
who can afford this,
is
'cause
live.
They can get
But it's
injury
free.
reports and weather reports. and
That's
all
what you're
that
telling
stuff.
me, is this service is for people that are like professionally gambling? Or?
You have to be able to afford it.
Wild.
And that's big business.
Well, and so they're adding this content on the back end to some. They've already got a premium customer, and they're saying, "Hey, you know what? Just stick with us. Here's a bunch more stuff that you might want."
So New Jersey right now has legal gambling online on anything you want. Anything
Okay.
you want. So I'm sure there's a lot of people who work in New York, live in Jersey, can afford $50 a month to bet on whatever sport they want.
Well, and then on the same service,
be
your kids'
25
TV can
gambling
get
sites.
Nickelodeon content on the back,
All of them,
and you
if
don't
you
have to
deposit
pay
money,
anything
you can
else
gamble.
for it. Viacom also just bought Pluto TV. Are you guys familiar with that?
Yeah.
So Pluto TV is a streaming service. Oh, pardon me. Is an ad-based streaming service that's been online for a long time now.
You can get them on your Samsung TV.
You can, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with it, because we might see some real quality content come to it.
You know, in order for streaming services to survive, since there's becoming so many, they have to find a niche, a specific niche, and that sports would be an example. And that way they can survive.
Amazon Prime is Amazon's
Yeah,
niche,
in
right?
relationship to all these others.
Yeah.
It's the only way.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe that price tag. Warner Media has announced that they're going to have a streaming service, which is funny because they probably have the least amount of details about what they've got planned, and it's happening at the end of 2019. And what they do know, though, is that if you are an HBO customer to begin with, you'll get a discount on their unreleased price of the service. So whatever they're going to charge, if you're already an HBO person, then you're going to get a discount on it. Yeah.
Well, if you have one pay-per-view item that you like, and you watch it throughout the year, they're typically $70 to $80 per show. And so, that, if you pay them $50 a month, it's only $600. If you're watching 10 of those, it's $800. And if you're watching other pay-per-view features, then it's a super bargain.
There are customers out there that those prices make sense. If I was paying $50 a month for content, I want all the content I want in one place.
Right.
I mean, every single show and movie I'm looking for, I want in one place. That's
But you're not getting it, so that's the point.
Right, and what's happening is these bills are starting to become staggering. I'm actually a little bit nervous for the precedent that we're setting for my kids, because we are really training them to think these micropayments are the way that life works. It's, oh yeah, of course, everybody has $80 a month, $5 here, $2 here, $1 here, $12 there. Right. I mean, it's not real money anyway. It's all just electrons.
Yes. But my DirecTV bill would
I don't
shock
think
you.
it's a question for our kids.
Well, you know,
I
it's
think
almost
Scott,
psychological.
I think we're there already. I don't
Yeah.
think it's for our kids. We are.
Yeah.
And that doesn't count the NFL.
Mine was 196.
Well, I think it's more psychological with people because they don't add it up.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think you're right. I
Unless
think.
you're really astute and you sit there and write down, well, I have now Prime and I have Netflix and I have this and that, and then add it up. It almost comes up to the same as watching TV. I mean, have a DirecTV or something.
I think Apple really envisioned, and it's never happened, but they envisioned an app for a content provider, and you would pay. You'd pay for that app, like a monthly subscription fee. Maybe it'd be 99 cents a month. So you'd pay 99 cents for NBC, 99 cents for CBS, right? And that way you could build your channel catalog at a reasonable, but you'd literally be paying a la carte. Yeah, this is what I want, this is what I'll pay for.
If you wrote
And it
down
just
what you
never
really
happened.
Well, that's what the cloud's all about.
Yeah.
That was the greatest move in merchandising and pricing that ever existed in our time. Is the cloud. Well, you don't buy a software anymore. You get it from the cloud.
Yeah.
It's all.
Well, we don't own anything anymore. It's all virtual goods.
Right.
Yeah.
And even if you own it, they rob it from you.
Well, it's because you're leasing it.
Yeah, you don't really
It
own
happened with
it.
Quicken, it happened with Word.
Yeah. No, I don't. I can't think of any software you
But they
own
cut you
outright.
off. They cut you off, and now you can only go and pay for it on the subscription basis.
Yeah. Well, and the Apple TV stuff that they don't have a price for yet, it's still more of the same. It's like we've created our own content network. These are the people that are going to be involved in it. It's going to be all new shows. Who knows what's going to happen with you? I think Disney is the most. That's the one that's going to kill it. I think at that price point, people are just going to drop Netflix and try Disney and see if they can survive on Disney for 6 months.
Disney buy Fox
Yeah.
Entertainment? Yeah.
Well, that's the reason they've actually ended up the major stakeholder in Hulu, is because they bought 20th Century Fox, and those were two major players in Hulu. It was Fox and Disney and Warner Media and NBC Universal, and they all, not one of them had a controlling stake, and they built that company specifically to have an online presence, a streaming presence to compete with pirating and YouTube. They were future proofing because they didn't have a streaming platform, and now all of them have their own streaming platforms, and Warner has sold back their position, and so it's ended up being a Disney product now.
Well, they took Fox 21st Century, I think, for content.
Right, yeah.
I just got my confirmation.
Yeah, well, and that's what will be offered in the Disney offering. Will be Fox. It'll be All
the
the-
stuff they license.
Yeah, all that stuff. Fox and Marvel and Star Wars and
But there'll be more.
yeah.
It's like the government, they keep on.
Yeah, I think
squeezing, but you
at
can't
that
take
price
it
point,
anymore.
people are gonna say, I'm turning off
Once
Netflix
you're
for a
comfortable
while.
again, they start squeezing it.
I'm finding Netflix just does not stay up on the current movies. Or maybe it's what I'm getting down here. I don't know.
Well, I've got a couple of one-offs. I've been playing with the Brave browser.
Brave.
Brave, very happy with it. Very fast.
How long does it take to set up?
Nothing.
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 Really?
It downloads like that.
I went to it, I went I gotta fill all this stuff out.
No, you should be able to just download it and install it. It
Does
should download in a very short period
Does
of
it
time.
copy all of your information from Chrome and stuff?
It can. Yeah, it had an import that I decided not to use because I just wanted it fresh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And it seems to work really well. It seems to give
Who's putting it out?
Brave. It's built on Chromium, so it's another Chrome-like browser, but their emphasis is on security and privacy. And so they've locked it down. They've pulled out, just like Microsoft's done with the new Edge. They've pulled out all the hooks into the Google ecosystem. So it's got its own. It can support Chrome add-ons, but it doesn't need to. It doesn't need to use those Chrome add-ons. It's not reporting tracking data back to Google, which is what the Chrome browser does all the time.
So you download Brave, and I got a screen come up that wanted all this information. You saying that didn't happen to you?
No. What kind of information did it want?
You know, name stuff, all some password stuff. I just looked at it. It looked like it was going to be like more than one page. I just said, forget it.
You know, one of the things that I thought was really cool on it is that its default start page, when you pull up just a blank page, keeps a tally of all the ads and threats that have been blocked by Brave settings. So you look at, they open it up to a blank page, and their start page blank page at the top has, we've blocked these many threats, we've blocked these many ads. Because of the way they've built the browser, its default is to be blocking this stuff and
it's
not
free.
letting it in first. Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, because I have them paying for it. I had an ad blocker that I.
Oh, you had a
tried
blocker
to-
that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think last week somebody said that it was related to ad blocker, but I think that was just a description of what it's doing. Like small a, not big A ad blocker, but
you're
small
getting
a.
lots of messages now about them knowing that you have an ad blocker on.
That's right.
Yeah, but I have another, ad blocker wasn't too good, but I got another one now that seems to be working.
Well, I don't see any reason not to try Brave. It's very easy to download. I don't know about you. I would double check.
Try it again. I'll try it again.
Yeah, read that web address very
Look into
closely,
what
because
it
maybe
shows
you're
you,
looking
the
at
list of
somebody
who they
that's trying to
blocked.
take advantage of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I sure didn't have to fill out anything.
I mean, they're driving us nuts with robocalls and blah, I mean, it's just impossible. And I read an article recently in the newspapers that it's epidemic throughout the world,
What's that?
the robocalls.
Oh, yeah.
And so the government's got to take a hand in the future to try to address this.
I just went online.
You have to go
Well,
to the Play Store.
You know what? It comes back to that we need to have regulation to protect ourselves, so that it's broad enough that the legal system can go after things like simply using your phone number to solicit becomes illegal because we've passed regulations that protect the use of our private information.
Yeah, it's got to come to it because it got abused like everything else.
Hey, I've got an example with Brave. I used it to go to that USATV247.com, and up in the taskbar of the Brave browser, it said it blocked 6 trackers and 1 encrypted connection. And not only did it block those 7 items, I was still able to watch TV, so who cares? Right? It's blocked questionable things. That's good. Still able to use the website. That's good too.
It's great if you got kids.
And one of the other topics I brought for today was that the Germans have decided to go ahead and let Huawei compete for their 5G market.
I have another question on Brave.
Oh, okay.
So historically, all these companies that are free and give you all this good service, they have to make money.
Right.
How is Brave making money?
Well, that is your homework for this week, Irving, is find out why Brave is doing this.
Okay.
Actually, I do believe that they have a security company on the side, and I think that's what they're selling is security services.
The answer in the past has always been they give it to you free till you're dependent on it, and then they start charging you.
I think that's what Disney's going to do. I think Disney's
so.
going to give it to us because they can just lose money on the streaming service until they've blown away all the competition, and then they'll jack up the price.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Netflix understands that.
You know, they say, I was reading an article this morning that said that Netflix spent $12 billion in creating their own content last year, and that they're planning on spending $15 billion making content this year.
Some of that content is good.
Yeah, I think that's what they're betting on. I think they need to finance that investment, and naturally there's going to be a price increase. And I think they're not looking back. They're not questioning what they're doing. They are going full speed ahead. People will appreciate this content when it exists. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll watch Disney do its thing. We'll watch some cheapskates like myself drop or Netflix and go to Disney, and then by the end of the year,
Move back.
yeah, there's going to be this just dump of all this the Netflix content that people can't live without, and they're all going to be going back to the service, probably at an elevated price.
So on Brave, just so I looked a little further, and it says that Brave is not the most secure browser and is good choice for Android, but for Windows and Mac it isn't that much. They mentioned two others. It says
Is that from Wikipedia?
this is a question that was asked: is Brave a safe browser?
Okay, it sounds like a poor source has popped up, because what they're selling is privacy and security. That's the whole point of the browser.
Okay.
That sounds like a website from a competitor.
Well, it says Vivaldi and Cyberfox. I never heard of either of those.
Yeah, I would take that answer with a grain of salt. I think it's just popped to the top because of Google's algorithm.
Okay.
But I think that's a good example there, Irving, of how algorithms might not be as smart as having a person read this stuff and rank it. Because I don't think Brave has anything else in the game except privacy and security. So the moment it was not the most secure, it would be fixed.
Did you put it on Windows 10 or you put it on Android?
I put it on Windows 10. I haven't tried it on Android. Oh, I did. I take that back. I did. I put it on my Android TV and used it for USA TV 24/7. And it worked just fine for that. What I found on my Android TV box, though, was I had a couple of instances where it felt like, I was watching news, like CNN. And all of a sudden,
you don't watch CNN, do you?
I know. It's just an example.
Okay.
I'll use Fox later.
Bad example.
Yeah.
Just to see how the other guys are thinking.
Right. And it was flying just fine in the background. Everything was working. All of a sudden, it froze. And this is after I'd watched it for a while, maybe like 30 minutes. It's in the background. All of a sudden, it froze. Gave me a black screen. And what was weird is I couldn't refresh it. I couldn't make it come back. And on my Android TV, I felt like I couldn't get results until I had rebooted the TV box, went back into Brave, went back to it, and then it worked. And so that's the only thing that I can say about it. And I tested that, and I consistently had the same problem. There's this random amount of time it worked just fine, the USA TV 247.com. There's this random amount of time that it worked just fine in the Brave browser on my Android TV, and then it would freeze up, it would give me a black screen, and I couldn't seem to recover unless I rebooted the Android box. That is such a very specific set of circumstances. I don't expect other people to run into that problem unless it's very similar. They've got a similar setup in their place.
Question. How
Yes.
How many more weeks are you going to be doing the computer club?
What did we just decide? At the top of the hour.
Where are you asleep?
Yeah.
May 14th.
14.
May 14th will be our last meeting with me.
You came in after?
I had,
Sorry.
I had an adventure this weekend.
We'll say that again?
I had an adventure this weekend.
An adventure.
I went out and bought a Bluetooth transmitter.
All right.
I went to Stern the other day. And
Okay.
I came home and set the 2 boxes down and stared at them for a while. And that was on Friday. And Saturday I opened them up. 2 hours later, I thought I had everything all connected.
2 hours.
2 hours.
Well, there's a lot of
You know,
work.
a Stern is a great store,
There's a lot of
but
work.
I've become very accustomed to thinking of it as the very best in average pricing and equipment. It's like they've got whatever you're looking for. It's just the quality and the
Yeah.
price is perfectly in the middle.
Yeah, okay. I took my audio optical cable out of the speaker that I connected it to off the TV, put it in their adapter, and then took a couple wires and plugs and put them in there to a single one, then put it to my Bluetooth transmitter. And
Wait, the transmitter didn't support optical audio. That's what you're saying?
you're right.
So you have an optical to RCA adapter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, then the RCA goes into this, and then this goes.
And then that's broadcasting Bluetooth.
Yeah. It's supposed to go wirelessly because it's Bluetooth to a speaker.
To a Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah, it would not do that.
Hey.
So it said, bring the speaker close to it, do the
Oh,
blah,
God.
blah, blah, blah. So I did all that, wouldn't do it. So finally I said, wait, there's one more hole here, one more hole here. I got another cable in here, so I plugged that thing into this thing, and it finally worked.
So
So that was
it
day
sounds to
2.
me
That
like
was
you.
Day 2. Day 3, and the speaker went out. I said, wait a minute.
The speaker went out.
It got 12 hours, and I didn't have it hardwired into the thing. So I hardwired it and got it going again. And then day 4, I said, okay, I'm gonna try this wirelessly. And I actually did get it to work. I took the plug out. While I was working, I unplugged it and moved it over to the other side of the room, and it was working. Still working. No.
Wait, it sounds like the
speaker
wire
died
allowed
out.
you to bypass the Bluetooth trans.
What's that?
It sounds like the wire allowed you to bypass the Bluetooth transmitter.
Yeah, I guess. But then when I undid it, the Bluetooth transmitter finally kicked in.
Okay.
So.
In my experience, those two technologies have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
Why would
It was
we
only
need
1,000
Bluetooth,
pesos. I said I gotta get this
transmission?
done.
Oh, just to be able to move speakers around your house without cables?
Oh, it was strictly for audio.
Yeah.
Audio, yeah. No, it's easy. You put the speaker behind you, it's easier to hear. You know.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other applications for Bluetooth other than audio, but that seems like, I mean, there's that in remote controls. Oh, in fact, I saw this morning that Amazon's selling the Harmony Logitech remote control for $35 today.
Good, you want one? I have one.
You don't like yours?
Too.
I hate it.
I liked it.
I'd like to play with one. I almost bought one just so I could play with
I'll
one.
let you play with mine.
Yeah,
I'll give it to
absolutely.
you.
Wait a minute.
You get it working? You get it working with my IPTV, and then I'd be happy.
Yeah,
But
well,
I can't get it to work with the IPTV.
So he has to play with it at your house.
If it supports the
Get it working.
IPTV box, it will play. I used mine when I was using 3 different remotes, and it worked fine.
Yeah.
Now that I'm out of, now that I'm kind of not using it now, but Amazon does say that you can use Alexa if you have that to operate your TV.
I'd love to play around with one. I almost bought one this morning because it's a $120 remote. I mean, it's the fantasy remote. And they're selling it today for $35. But the problem is, even though it's the fantasy remote, it still is not the best remote the Logitech makes. And it's got its own set of issues that people that own these have just become accustomed to.
Well, I just have a Harmony one.
That's what I have.
Well, I think that's the one we're
Same
talking
he
about.
has.
Yeah.
Well,
We actually discussed it here,
I'll
and that's
give
why
it
we
to you.
bought
You
it.
can play with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. I'd love to play around with. I've never held one. I've never programmed one, never played with one, but it's the one everybody talks about.
It's
Well,
good.
Yeah.
I found it to be excellent.
If you can get it working with all your stuff. You know,
Yeah.
we don't have TV, so it isn't like we're in the States and we've got TV and you're using the TV part.
Right. but it's the ultimate universal remote control. You're supposed to be able to download programming sets into it and graphic buttons on it. And, yeah.
Be my guest.
Well, the most interesting part of it is now that Alexa is supporting it.
Yeah, that's
And
interesting
that's the
too.
key to it, because if you can just say, change channel or go to channel 21 or open the TV, and all your units turn on, that would be terrific.
Yeah, you know, it's actually what Linda's talking about is the reason I didn't just go ahead and stick it in my shopping cart this morning was I've got everything running off of a remote control and a keyboard mouse combination. And I don't need any other remotes. So I'd love to know how to set one up and play with it, but I don't think I have any need for
It's
it.
very easy to set up. You go to their site, and it lists your device.
Yeah.
And they list thousands of devices, so the chances are it lists your TV, it lists
Oh,
your receiver. It lists
it'd be cool to see if it's.
DirecTV,
Pardon me?
DirecTV could be put into.
Well, DirecTV is a service, but
All right,
at the
now we gotta
bottom,
find out.
Yeah, it might have the receiver. I
Well,
would assume it does.
There's a very good chance, you know, that question just sparked for me. Like, well, wouldn't it be interesting if it works on a gaming platform,
Well, it
like
must
an
have worked on
Xbox
DirecTV,
or a
'cause that's what I used to
Nintendo?
have, so I was,
Yeah.
I had basically three things going on at once. I'd have my TV, my DirecTV, and my sound system. And one button would turn them all on and all off.
I would have 4 or 5.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can put as many as they support.
I'm
That's
bringing
all you
up
have to do is
the
get to the site.
device support
What was the
list
name of
right
it?
at the moment.
It's the
Harmony.
Harmony remote.
Oh,
What
it
did
supports
we
the
pay? Do you
PlayStation.
$50?
Yeah, like $50 we paid. It was on sale at the time.
Yeah. we got
Amazon.
on
It
sale.
supports Xbox One. See,
It's
that's
Logitech.
yeah, it's Logitech.
Harmony.
It supports Sony Blu-rays. It supports the Apple MacBook Air. In fact, they've got such a database, you actually have to search it. What I'm reading from is the popular searches. In fact, like the Sony Blu-ray says that it supports all the features except you can't launch things with your voice. Ooh. That seems to be a consistent on the most popular ones. Bose Cinematic Cinemate Series 2, Vizio. Yeah, no, I'd like to play with one. I've got an Xbox One at home, and that's one of the things that's very frustrating using a gaming console for consuming content is no normal person wants to grab a game controller to watch HBO.
It's hard to hold that on your lap.
Well, Chester, have you guys ever, I don't know, have you guys ever grabbed those gaming controllers? There is typically 26 buttons.
Wow.
26 buttons on it, and they're laid out with joysticks and fire triggers, and like who wants to grab that and bring up Netflix? Right? Like a 14-year-old, but not my mom. My mom doesn't want to walk into my living room and try and start something on the gaming console. Use it. First thing she would do is toss it aside, looking for the remote.
How about the on and off
Everyone in my
button?
generation
She's
would
had
do
a,
that.
Yeah, right.
he fell and had a lot.
Well,
She's had a
we've reached the end. This is the end. We are at the end of our club meeting. We're only a few moments after our end time. This is a perfect time to ask if anybody has some last minute things, because anybody is a small number now, so it's much easier.
Your homework's been canceled.
Oh, it has. Okay, good.
What's been good?
My homework. Irving's has not. Have you figured out what Brave is?
Well,
How they're gonna make money?
When I get home, I'm going to get research it more thoroughly. I'm going to try the unplug thing, then go into. I'm going to do what you said.
Okay, cool.
If I can't do
Well,
it,
and the
I can
Brave
always
browser,
help.
find out how Brave is going to make money.
I will.
Yeah.
Well, right, I can make assumptions.
You're welcome, Maggie.
See you in the
Of
fall.
course, most.
This is your last one, Mike?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be even smaller next week then.
lot smaller.
Have a safe
Well,
trip.
Mike, that's because of personality, nothing else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, they all gotta make money, and most of them are using ad-based.
No problem.
And this one's discipline is to strictly block the ad-based
Right,
stuff.
so it'd be worth a subscription for most people if they could actually block the ads. These guys are so good, like on the robocalls now. They have a system by where they call you and then they call you on another number 4 times in a row, 4 different numbers from the same thing before they give up.
Yeah.
And my blocker, I beep, and then it goes off, beep, goes off, and I get 4 or 5 calls in a row, they get blocked, but they're all from the same person. They have an algorithm, like you say, that
Yeah.
uses random phone, that doesn't cost them anything, obviously.
Oh, it's so cheap to make phone calls now. It's just,
Well, free is what they're doing, there's
Yeah.
no question about it. And you get the same messages, I mean, they wanna sell you, stuff that you, not even remotely related to what you
Well,
might need.
I get mostly donate to the police or something, you know, which isn't the police, obviously.
Yeah, okay.
guys, I gotta shut this down. So let me say my last final words. This has been the San Carlos Computer Club. I'm Scott Stimson from International Computer Solutions. Here asking you if you have any computer issues out there, please get a hold of me through my website, internationalcs.net. If you're interested in our meetings, we meet regularly from 9:15 to 10:15 on Tuesdays in Tequilas. You can come down and join us if you're in San Carlos, or find out more information. Watch us live from scclub.org. Check out our YouTube channel at scclub. There's Maggie right behind me. Check out our YouTube at youtube.scclub.org. And I think I've reached the end. So I will just say, everybody keep calm, tech on. And